really great live. It was a lot of participation, lots of interaction, engagement, and so much I want to say about that, but I'm not going to get into it quite yet. So if you're joining us this morning, welcome to Coffee Talk with Sunny and Chief. Get your cup of coffee because we're about to keep it real. So what are your thoughts of last night's live? What really stuck out for you?
There was quite a bit that stuck out for me. I took it a little bit differently last night and got in my feels kind of because I've been attending the lives for so long and I've got to know the people in the lives so well that I really care about people in there. And I feel like, we really are there to support one another. And I think that's it, that we all really care. Like the folks from the live, a lot of us message one another, a lot of us will text message one another. And then there's a lot of great support from in there. Even myself on my TikTok, on the Veteran Lives, on yours, on mine for the music. Everybody supports each other and we show up and really care, and I think that people come to the Veteran Lives because they find people that they can relate to and they either want to be around people that care and can understand. I don't know. I went a lot of different ways last night. I'll let you kind of kick it off and I'll fill in.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about this, but you're reading my mind. I'm telling you guys, energy is a thing and it's real. Our energies match. I swear, we read each other's minds or something. So as you all saw, I did my plank video already, so I didn't even get a chance to actually talk to you on the phone this morning. But support, I want to touch on support because that came up last night. And again, this morning, it was right there for me saying, Sil, you got to talk about this again. And we just talked about this, actually, I think it was last Saturday, episode 4, where we're talking about what does support look like for you? One of the hardest things to get is support. And I don't understand it. Maybe one day we'll understand it better. But I'm not quite sure why it's so difficult to support people. Support is an action word. Always will be an action word. They're not just words, because if they're just words, they're empty words. Support looks very differently as well. As you all know, Sunny is running this, we'll call it a fundraiser, even though I've been asking for donations. I've been saying, hey guys, get some of the merch, Uniting Veterans Across the Nation. I'm actually wearing that t-shirt today. This is a real thing. Right? So support comes from resharing my posts, commenting, all those things that not just money. It's not just monetary. It also is the love, the being present, show up. And we know who shows up because they're here. You know what I mean? That's support. And I actually had a really great conversation this week with a fellow veteran of our TikTok community, LTD, also known as Screaming American Eagle. She's actually on this app. Well known. I remember her, even with my first account and everything she was doing to bring awareness to what was happening on the border. She was boots on the ground, carrying her flag. And I remember seeing all her videos and reposting and leaving comments like, you're awesome. I can't be at that border, but there you are, representing the American people. And one of the things that she's so much more than just a veteran, which is something else I want to talk about. She's a warrior of truth. She's a warrior and she's fighting like so many of us, fighting the good fight, right? Just trying to make a living, get ahead, bring awareness. I mean, the list is quite extensive, right? We're all uniquely different on this platform. And part of my conversation with her was, why is it so hard for people to support each other? And I don't understand that. We should never feel like we're in competition with one another. Why is it so difficult to share, repost? Just share it out there or support each other, right? If you're buying merchandise, right? If you're buying merch, I think I said this one time, I'm like, why is it that someone will go spend $25 on a t-shirt anywhere, right? And not necessarily go to support a mission, a cause, a veteran-owned company. The list is extensive, and I don't understand that, But this is a conversation her and I had. She's actually a great individual. I'm a supporter. I've visited her site, so I encourage all of you to LTD Defense, as she's known as well, but it's Screaming American Eagle if you want her handles, and support her. And that's what it boils down to. Why are you going to go on Amazon when you have a veteran-owned company and you can easily support her? So I just wanted to quickly say that out loud because it's important. I think more and more of us creators actually need to take the time to actually bring that to the forefront, because this is the reality. And we talk about this all the time, our hashtag match energy. I have a huge heart, but I'm getting to the place myself. If you're not matching my energy, I don't know what to tell you. But I'm also going to start reciprocating that same energy. I cannot continually pour of my own energy into an empty glass. I need something back because I'm going to deplete myself. And it's also important to recognize what that looks like, you know? So back to last night and support. You know, we all had an opportunity to go roundtable last night, Chief, and the conversation was really focused on how we overcome our challenges, our personal challenges, and how differently that looks for people, which also brings the word support. Support is identified in many ways. And the one thing I will never do as a creator, as a person on this platform or in my personal life, is ever force anyone to talk to me. That's a personal journey. It's got to be something that you're willing to do because you feel you need to do it for yourself. And it's important to know who your tribe is. That is so important. Know who to go to when the time is right for you. And I'll bounce it over to you because I know I went off on a little bit of a rant there.
Yeah, I think that's good. You did touch on a lot of things, and one of the things you said was the support. I actually mentioned it on one of my music lives, and then I heard Granny Cannabis talking about that in her live as well. And that's so often, you know, we jump in other people's lives and we share love, but you don't always see that reciprocated. And why? And I think it's because a lot of people get so focused on themselves and what they're doing, you know, that they kind of forget maybe that, you know what everyone's doing for them, to share it back. And it is matching that energy and reciprocating that. And I think we get caught up in the moment of what we've got going on, and the next thing to even forget, hey, take a minute and say thank you, or take a minute and make sure that you're okay, make sure that your buddies are okay. And especially in the veteran community, we have such a hard time asking for help. I think that, you know, like you said, support looks different for everyone. Some people, their idea of support is, I'm available, I'm here for you to talk to me. But sometimes those same people need support or help and are scared to ask for it. And I realized something in that live last night, that when I was mobilized with Scooter, we were not in the most glamorous of places in the sand, but I realized, you know, we had all this stuff going on, and then I had all this stuff going on back home. You know, like my grandfather had passed. I didn't even come home. I just stayed there, and I realized I never cried. I never asked for help. I didn't even really talk about it. I just kind of went on with the mission and stayed hard and still cared about my crew, you know, the guys on my boat. And I look back on it, and if I realized had that been one of my team, I would have sent them home. And I went through a lot and held on to a lot, and that caused a lot of problems for me. You know, when I got home, I hadn't grieved. I hadn't even talked to the family about anything really. And I had put myself in such a place. I didn't have the best group of friends to talk to, so I didn't trust them to talk, you know, because all we did was we would drink it away. That's what's normal. So I got back home, drank away, and then I started to lose more and more members of my family, my friend groups, like people are disappearing. And here I am just doing the same thing every day still, not realizing I need help because I'm still here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even talking about it. I'm just coping. And I chose booze to cope. And when I look back on it, I realized I had surrounded myself with people who enabled that and were doing the same thing as me. Our lives were so repeatable, and we were miserable, so to speak. We just talked about all the negative stuff, but we kept doing the same things. And I was hiding from my monsters. I was hiding from facing my decisions, the people that I had surrounded myself with, the things that were coming out of my mouth, how I perceived things, how I looked at things. And it wasn't until I realized I actually need help, I want help, until it actually was able to work for me.
Wow. That was awesome. Thank you for all of that. I had to take little notes because you touched on so many things. Self-love, guys. It always goes back to self-love. You know, Sunny spent the majority of her life pouring into everyone else because it was easier. It was easier to pour into everyone else until I realized I had nothing left to pour out of. And this morning's plank video, actually, my message was find your freedom. And there's truth in what I'm about to share with you. There's freedom in breathing for yourself. I found myself breathing for my family, breathing for my children. Anybody that needed my help, I was right there, because as long as I kept busy, which is going back to your mission, you were so focused on what you needed to do, you never took the time to actually take care of yourself, which is invest in you every single day. And it's easier said than done. And it takes work every single day. It's like little nudges and reminders. Like if you were about to nudge your best friend and say, hey, I notice you're not doing good, and taking care of them, you need to do that for you. And that's a hard one. It really is. We self-sabotage, and sometimes we do it intentionally, sometimes we do it intentionally. But when you make yourself aware of it, it's important to recognize that you need to start taking care of yourself. And I can't tell you where that is or where you need to start, because I don't know your journey, but it's essential. And staying hard, you know, like you said, I understand that because, for instance, when I had my brother's loss, I couldn't cry. I was actually told not to cry by my family. I'll never forget that. My family said, you can't cry because if your mother sees you cry. And I remember doing my whole thing on my own, and then I didn't cry anymore. And it would catch me in my sleep. It would catch me. It was like I literally understood the shutdown, but I won't get into it. But either way, that kind of resonated and brought me back to a place and a feeling. And many of us know this, whether it's service or not, you know, where you shut down and you harden up and you don't feel it until you start to feel it, or something brings you to that place of feeling. And that's when it can really get dangerous, as you shared. And thank you for sharing. You know, you leaned into a specific group of people, and drinking became the outlet, which is also a numbing, a depressant, and so on and so forth, and detrimental. And it's so hard to come out of that place and then find your way out, which goes also to, you know, the road, and rerouting your road, your GPS, your personal GPS in life can be rerouted many times, guys. Even when you think you're on the right path, you know, be ready to reroute, because it's not always going to be straight and forward. Life is a hard thing. It's not easy. It's not intended to be easy. It's intended to be hard to continuously help you grow. And hopefully in your journey, you'll recognize the things you need to start doing for yourself so you can continue growing as a person and taking care of yourself. Because the truth is, we are no good to anyone around us if we're not taking care of ourselves. And eventually it will catch up with us. You know, the facade, it's like, oh, she's always happy. I remember during my divorce, no one believed what I went through. And the one thing I continuously heard that came back was, you always looked happy. Like, that's BS. She's lying. I'm like, you know, that I'm fine. I'm fine all the time. Because like you said, you start to also lose people that you can lean into to trust and talk to. So I spent most of my life not really talking to anyone. It was my journey. I dealt with it and tried to overcome a lot of my own personal growth challenges.
Yeah, and it's important to who you talk to about that stuff as well. I know when I was working through some of my traumas and pains, I brought up a story from when I was young. My aunt and uncle were over at my mom and dad's, and I watched my aunt get upset, and she poked my uncle with a knife right in front of me. And I didn't think much of that all my life until I got a little bit older. I was like, that was kind of weird. And so I started to talk about it. And I found that it divided my family a little bit, because some people are like, you're lying. That didn't happen. I'm like, why would I lie? Like, I was a little kid. Like, there might be sides to every story, but I vividly remember this is exactly what happened, and then you disappearing. And so it caused division in my family, just me talking about what I had witnessed and what I'd seen from that family member. And to this day, some people in the family don't even want to talk to me because they feel like maybe I'm too honest. It's not that I'm trying to bring up shit and rehash it. I genuinely like to be honest with myself, because I found that you're not going to get help until you're honest with yourself, and you're not going to help other people unless you're honest with yourself and then honest with them too. And nobody outside of you can fix you Nobody outside of you can really break you. Money's not going to fix you. Things aren't going to fix you. It's all in here. You have to understand that. You have to want that. And sometimes, like for me, it took a lot of bad shit for me to be like, it literally can't get worse than this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I had to really, really, really want that change to happen. But more than anything, I had to make it happen. And it starts with yourself and little things.
100% correct. You know, I don't know why we think people can fix us, guys. People can't fix us. They just can't. You know, no one really knows you but you. You know, you have to be your own first champion, your number one fan, rooting for yourself every single day. And, you know, back to what you were saying, yeah, no one's going to know what you just shared, like your truth, right? Know your truth and advocate for that. It was about a week ago, I was sharing something with my mom, and my mom is old school, and she's like, oh, why do you do that? Why do you do that? Why, you know, he's going to get upset with you, referring to a family member. I said, Mom, if I don't, who will? Be somebody's voice, and don't be afraid. I'm not afraid. If I see something, I say something, I do something. And that goes back to leading in love and leading the way and what that looks like. Earlier today, I also had heard, I got your six. Well, what the hell does that mean? You know, what does I got your six really mean? They're empty words. They're just words on paper unless there's action behind those words. And what does that look like? And you find that when it's time to stand up, not everyone will stand with you. That I found as well.
Yeah, we get excited to make acquaintances and connections, and I think that produces this chemical inside of us that gets us excited, and sometimes we overlook maybe a flag or truths in relationships with friends. But like we've mentioned, you have to start with being honest with yourself. You know, what do you need help with? What do you need to work on? If you sit down and you ask yourself that, the truth will come out. Like, you know that. Just be honest, just like you would if you were, you know, still in the military as a leader. Be honest. Like, hold people accountable, and support looks different. Be there. Like, I might be honest and harsh sometimes, but it comes from a place of love. Like, my friend group, I don't enable. I'm not going to sit here and have friends that are casing my house while they're sitting here getting drunk. You know, I don't want to have friends that are just constantly talking about how negative stuff is and keeping me down. Like, I'd rather have people around me that I feel comfortable talking to, that I can smile with, that I can make memories with. Because I think a lot of the time we take the moment for granted. You know, we don't realize that this moment right now, we're making a memory that we're going to look back on. It's going to be amazing. We're too focused on looking forward to something else, or focused on our lack, or focused on the negative. And what I found in my case is when I focus on negative, more negative happens. And when I focus on positive, more opportunities present themselves. And new opportunities, that's how change happens. Because clearly when you're stuck doing the same shit, nothing new happens. Change isn't going to occur. It's not until you lean into maybe that uncomfortable, or lean into that new person or that opportunity, or take that chance. Once you've, you know, run it through your mind and made sure, you know what, this is the right decision, do it. And then see what happens. Something new, some opportunity, some door will open.
Absolutely. Opportunity is always waiting. It's waiting on you. And when you talk about people and your tribe will find you, but so will the positive and the negative people. I will tell you that. They will gravitate to you, and then it's up to you to use your own personal discernment. I am famous for ignoring red flags. I'm getting better, especially on this app. I want to always believe the good in people. And then I've had to come to that there's bad in people too, and recognizing that it can be very disappointing to us. So, you know, lead with caution as well, because you don't want to be taken advantage of. And there's a lot of that as well. You know, discernment is so important when you're trying to identify, what does a friend look like? You know, what does that friend look like? And you mentioned enabling. I won't enable you. And as a result of being on this platform, I've lost some guys. I have lost some, not because I'm not caring, not because I don't want to be supportive, but I won't enable you day in and day out, because then that means I'm not a good friend and I'm not helping you grow. I'm just enabling you and celebrating the fact that you're stuck in a funk. And I think I can be a better friend than that. So I will offer things. And if at some point certain individuals don't like that, they will leave. They will. Or be sour, one or the other. But accountability is so important, and personal responsibility to yourself and your friendships.
Yeah, that's true. And the comments are kind of blowing up here. I saw Nurse Betty said she gets let down a lot. And I think we all do. We do, because people will show up in our life excited about our energy. They want to match that energy, but then they don't show up, or they don't show up in the way that they seemed that they would have. And we get disappointed. And that's very difficult, because it's hard enough to stay motivated, and it's hard enough to fill your own cup. You know, I know that you do your plank videos every day. I do my push up and plank, whatever video every day. And I don't even want to. And I know that there's days where you're probably like, fuck, I don't want to do a plank today. But motivation follows action. And when you can show up for yourself, and you can go out and you can do your plank, or you can go out and do your exercise, you can go out and go for a walk, or you can just make some time for you to sit down and listen to some music and tune that shit out. That's how you start it right there.
Yeah, music is therapy if you're listening to the right stuff, and you're fantastic at that. Tuesdays and Thursdays, guys, tune into him, 5 p.m. Central Time. It really is a vibe. And the music is an escape as well. It takes you somewhere. I think yesterday I was sharing on our live that, once you get outside, if you're having anxiety or like a panic attack, the best thing you could possibly do for yourself is get outside of that situation immediately. Go outside, awaken the senses, whatever that is. Go walking, go hiking, change it up. But only you really know what that is. So we did have somebody, and I won't mention names, but we did have somebody who was struggling. And my first question to her was, as she was looking for suggestions or an answer for her immediate situation, was, what brings you calm? Only you can answer that. I can't answer that for you. What brings you calm? And the answer was water. That one for me resonates, because I love being out on the water. As you guys all saw, Sunny was on the water 2 days in a row, Saturday and Sunday. That's where I found my mental clarity. I found my calm. I found my peace. All the noise was quieted, and I was able to breathe again and think and get things back into perspective. And I think too often we're running a rat race. We're not taking care of ourselves. We're hustling. It's work chores, it's work, it's kids, it's all kinds of things. And we don't take enough time for our own mental health. And I think if we were to ask every single person, what did you do for yourself today? The percentage would be, I think, on the low side on what people are doing for themselves on a daily.
Yeah, I think it's even less people know a healthy way to take care of themselves on a daily. I think a lot of people choose to cope in unhealthy ways, whether that's turning to bad drugs, alcohol, bad foods, or even just crazy, careless behavior. Mm-hmm. I know I certainly did that for a long time, but you're right. I think everybody has their own ways to overcome, and they have their own ways to overcome in every situation, because there's certain situations where it's like, you know what? I can't just walk out of here and leave. Or there's certain conversations that you feel trapped in, and you can't just escape to go kayak right away. So you have to know yourself, know that it's temporary. And for me, a lot of times I'll stop, I'll close my eyes, and I'll take a breath, even if that is in the middle of a conversation, because that's going to be probably a little safer than my auto response. That's going to come out next and escalate the situation. So if you do find yourself, you feel trapped, like you can't escape it right now, remember to breathe, and always remember that it's temporary, and think about who you're going to tell this fucking crazy story to later, and you might even be able to laugh about it, because time does fix a lot of things. If you just separate yourself from that drama and realize this is temporary, I'm going to get through this, and I'm going to share this with my friends later. There's a lot of different ways, but take the time to know what works for you. Sometimes it's music, sometimes it's activity, sometimes it's a person, sometimes it's art. I even have a friend that crochets. He just disappears in it and crochets like crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's finding those things that allow you to breathe. Breathing is hard, especially when your mind is really chaotic. And, we talked about this a little bit last night, too. How do you quiet the mind? Oh, that's a hard one, guys. That's a hard one. When your mind is our mind is the most powerful thing we have, and it could either get you right up here where you're feeling high, you're feeling great, or all the way down here, and it's freaking hard to get back up there. So pay attention, because your body will give you cues as well. You know your roller coaster ride and what sets you off. And sometimes, yeah, you get blindsided, but overall, you should be paying attention. A blast more music into my mind. Absolutely do that. All those positive energy vibes, which are so important. I think it was you, Nurse Bonnie, who actually left a comment in my video this morning that you felt the vibe. I get that a lot on my videos. Like, oh my gosh, I saw the video and immediately felt the vibe. It is contagious, guys, even across this screen. And that's why Sunny does the mindful moments every single day for you guys. I don't just do it for you guys. I do it for me first, and I share it with you guys. So breathing is really important, but you also touched base on coping, and that's a word that you and I agree on, coping versus overcoming.
Yeah, to me, coping is using something in place of a better solution. Like I'm coping, I'm doing something to get by. Like myself, I coped with alcohol. That's a temporary, not even solution, that's just a hobby that I did to temporarily deal with my life at the time. And I think a solution was overcoming alcohol and getting myself out of those situations where I have to cope. If you are in a position where you have to cope, then you're also in a position where you can present yourself with a better opportunity, so you're not coping anymore. And that's how you heal.
Yep. I used to use that word, overuse that word. I think most people do. I'm coping. Well, when you're coping, you're just kind of accepting that this is where you are. You're not really moving in the other direction, which is out of that coping stage. And this is actually a conversation that we had last night. And, it's a personal choice. It really is. I can't tell people what to do with their life. It's their personal journey. But if you choose, and it's your choice, to stay in the coping phase for the rest of your life, then you're always going to have the same outcome. It's not until you do the hard thing, the real hard thing, which is taking care of you mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, that you start to grow, and you grow in the pain of facing that coping phase. What are you coping from? We keep sweeping everything under the rug, and we never truly address it. And like you said, we mask it with alcohol or other things, whatever the case may be. But it's really important that if you want to come out of that coping phase, I'll call it the coping phase. I don't know what else to refer to it as, but it's just going to be the same. It's going to be a vicious circle. And I think we talked about this. We have specific people in our life that I've had to accept. For instance, my mother will always be in her coping phase. Even if I hope or pray or wish or provide suggestions or demonstrate what it's like to come out of that, it's a choice. It's her choice.
It's difficult because I feel like if you're coping in life, you're not living your life. You're not living every day. And there's such a difference between surviving and living life every day. And it makes me so sad to see people coping and struggling, because I feel it. I've been there and I remember it, and I hated it. And then when I see it for other people, that breaks my heart, and I want to help them so much, but you can't. You can just be there for people. They have to want the help. They have to want to live their life. And so many people are callous to coping that is their way of life, and that's what they've accepted. And in their mind, it doesn't get better. This is the best. Well, it can get better. It can get better for you. You can make it as good as you want. You just have to do the work and surround yourself with people that believe the same way and will be there to support you and hold you accountable to that.
Yeah. And that's exactly it. It does hurt, guys. It hurts when you see the people that you care about and love I've kind of resonated with, oh, she's just going to choose to be in this place for the rest of her life. And you're right. She's not living. She's not really truly smiling. Trying to get my mom to take a picture. That's another story. I'm like, Mom, can we do that again, please? Can you try to smile? I don't think she even remembers how to truly smile. And if I catch a smile from her, it's usually when she sees my children. And her way of thinking is everything is always negative. Life is hard. Yeah, it is, but I'm still smiling and you can still enjoy it. Make the best of it, control the controllable. And I don't know how to help her other than as her child or as a friend, I can demonstrate this is what I'm doing and maybe hopefully lead the way so she can see it for herself and start feeling that experience.
Everyone has their own story. Everyone has their own journey. And even when we're demonstrating it, I know I look at my kids a lot and I'm like, I think they're too far gone. Sometimes like, you're so fucking brainwashed. This is fucking ridiculous. But I'll continue to demonstrate, and hopefully with them, they're going to say, you know what? My dad said my whole life and drilled into my head, words, words, words. Everybody's going to say all these things to your whole life. But look for the actions. And I'm teaching my kids, and I have to be on my A game because they call me out, certainly when I react poorly. But watch people's actions. Watch who does what they say they're going to do. Watch who is actually there for you when you need it. And you'll see it. You'll see who your true friends are. You'll see who your true family is. And so that's all we can do, even with our parents or our close friends, people we love and respect, that we even have, maybe they're in our small doses category, as you say, small doses. All you can do is example it for them. You don't go to them and spread the gossip. You go to them and share a smile. Maybe you share an experience that you've had. You give them a lending ear and you spread the positivity. You actually show up for them. Or maybe you just reach out to them out of the blue. Say, hey, I was just thinking about you, because that's so powerful. Or even like I've said before, write somebody a little note. That's how, to me, it's the little actions, not the words, not the I'm your biggest supporter. Everybody can say that to you. Everybody's going to tell you, I love you. They're going to say, oh, you're the this or that. But they're not there. Yeah. You know that? And I've seen that in relationships. It took me too many, dramatic relationships to realize that my truth and what to look for and how to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. Many will say, I'm your biggest fan. I'm your hugest supporter. I have so much respect. I'm like, really? Well, what does that look like? I'm not feeling it. Guys, I have to feel it on this end. It's a feeling. I'm not it's not coming across. Energy should be reciprocated. Gratefulness should be felt. Appreciation should be felt. So I don't know. Words to me are holding less and less importance. I'm focused more on what you're doing. If you're truly supporting me, what does that look like? On this app, if we're talking about social media versus personal life, right? Our outside life here, it's resharing, it's liking, it's leaving a comment, it's maybe duetting. It comes in many forms, as we said, but you're right. We have learned what support truly looks like for ourselves when we've put in the work to actually get at the core of our own personal truth. And if I am sharing and giving of my energy, then I'm going to hope that it's reciprocated. Otherwise, I'm at this place now where I'm like, I got to step back, because I'm not going to continue pouring into something that's not, I don't even know. I don't want to sound selfish, but yes, I need your energy back too. It takes a lot of work to get all this energy. I need energy back. So remember that in your daily interactions with people, family or friends.
Absolutely. And if it's somebody bringing you down, put them in small doses or cut them out. I remember I had a very close friend of mine before I went through my last divorce, that we were driveway buddies. We would sit in the driveway and drink beers all night, and we would get loud and have fun and be crazy. And then I went through my divorce, and I didn't talk to that guy for years. And one day he showed up at my house, my new house, and he was telling my kids, do you remember me? I'm your dad's best friend, this and that. And I had to stop and go, hold on. My best friend, where have you been? You haven't called or texted. You haven't shown up. Actually, what you're doing right now is asking me where I keep all my stuff, what I do when I'm gone, what do I have. Like, you're just figuring out all the things that I have, what I'm doing, what I'm up to, and not for my best interest. You're just using words, but your actions are showing me differently. And I had to cut him out completely. I haven't talked to the guy at all. And when I think back, we spent a lot of time together, It was very unhealthy. You know, we did a lot of the wrong things, but I had to cut him completely out. It wasn't even the same person. I'm not the same person that I was then. He's not the same person he was for me then, you know, and he's not someone that is ready to be on my level at this point. He's caused more bad than good for me.
When you go through life's experiences, you're constantly redefining who your friends are. That's another thing. You know, I'm so grateful to be able to say that, you know, my best friend and I have had longevity, 25 years of friendship. But I'm grateful for that. But I've also had to cut people out of my life. I also found being an empath, oh my, let me tell you something about being an empath. People will suck the life out of you, and then you have nothing, and you kind of can become a human punching bag for people as well, because they know you to be this caring and loving person. So they will also use you as the person they take everything out on. And that's when you have to recognize, like, well, what the hell's happening here, you know? And those are hurtful. And I'll tell you, I've had to cut several out, and they were hurtful to me because I truly cared about the individual, but it was not good for me. When I found myself in a place of feeling horrible, I had to cut them loose.
It is hard. It's really hard because especially if you've had a relationship, a lot of time with them, you've been through things together, but it's super difficult. It can be just super difficult to cut people out, but you do that with love as well. Sometimes the best way to help somebody is to cut them out. Sometimes people have to figure things out a little bit harder than others.
Absolutely. Guys, I just want to say hello for those of you that are here that we haven't had an opportunity to say hello to. Welcome to Cawfee Talk with Sunny and Chief. We're here every single Saturday. This is episode 5. I'll just throw it in there quickly. Please feel free to also follow my links, my YouTube channel's there. I will get around to actually uploading. Did I upload last week's? I don't even think I uploaded last week's. Wow, it's been busy for Sunny. So I still have to apparently upload episode 4 to YouTube, and I will be uploading this episode, which is episode 5. If you want to make reference to it again, we're just having real talk. This is what we do on Saturdays, real talk about real things that happen in our lives, our day-to-day interactions, whether it's work, friends, family, personal shared experiences, whatever the case may be. But yeah, when people aren't on your level, you do have to keep it going. And I know to some it sounds heartless because we should be caring for people, and we do. But we also can't compromise ourselves. And I think too often that's what we do. We stay in the wrong place too long, we're in the wrong friendship too long, in the wrong relationship, marriage, whatever, partner. And you ask yourself at the end, like, why did I do that? I saw the red flags. It wasn't filling my cup. And I think that has something to do with the fact that we remain hopeful. But at the end of the day, guys, we can't change people. Only people themselves can change themselves if they recognize there's an area in their life that needs work. But it's not going to be you or I that's going to do that for them. They have to put in the work.
And go to the right people. Like, I know I don't go to the same person for everything, and I certainly wouldn't go to, for example, my mother on podcast advice, as she's never even been on a podcast. So why would I allow her feedback to bring me down on mine? So a lot of people in your life will give you criticisms, and it hurts our feelings. We allow it to hurt us when we shouldn't. It's like, you don't even know what you're talking about. Like, you're not the expert. I would rather talk to somebody who is the expert and get the advice from them, or go to someone who's been through this scenario that I'm struggling with and need help. I would rather find someone who's been there and exampled or demonstrated a positive way out for me to get my advice from. I'm not going to go to my alcoholic buddy who's still struggling and not working through his shit to get his advice. I'll definitely be there if he calls or needs some help, but I'm not going to go to him when I have a problem in that area, you know?
No, you're the expert in your own life, guys. But yeah, we tend to ask for other people because we just got so much chaos going on in our minds that we're looking for that quick out. Unfortunately, in this journey called life, there isn't always a quick answer, and it's going to require time. It's like anything else. You made reference to crocheting. It's like crocheting a blanket. You're not going to have a blanket like that. You actually have to take the time and you have to knit it out. And it's like you every single day, though, you will start to see improvement. even in the way you're interacting with others. You're going to see improvement in your consistency. You're going to see improvement. Wow, I smiled a lot today, or I was in a funk today. You're going to be more mindful of your own personal actions and your dailies, your daily engagements with other people. You know, last night's live, you know, I had to come down after it because it was like, whew, that was a lot for me. You know, it was a lot for me. And it's hard to see people struggle. I'm going to tell you guys, I know you have this too. It's so hard for us to see others struggle because we want to fix it for them. We do. I've always been known as the fixer. I'll do it for you. Let me help you. And I'm still that person. But you know, there's nothing wrong with leading the way in love and saying, you know what, I'm going to help you out this time. You're kind of demonstrating what that looks like. If my daughter said to me, Mom, I hate washing the dishes because every time I wash them, you're never satisfied. They look like they're not satisfactory to my liking or something. So what am I going to do? Here, come on. I'm going to show you how Mommy does it. I'm going to lead in love and lead the way. And then hopefully she's observing and then she'll be able to do it the next time. But if I continuously do that same thing for her, guess what? I just enabled something and she's never going to learn it on her own. So, and that's true in any area of our lives. Last night was great. Thank you, Rob.
That same exact thing happened to me last night. I asked my kids to help me clean the bathroom, and they did. They said they did, but when I went in, I didn't really notice anything had been done. I had to have a talk with them because they really half-assed it so bad that I felt like I would be enabling poor work ethic if I didn't say something about it. So yeah. I was so triggered though that I had to breathe before I called the kids in. I said, guys, you know, I don't feel like you did your best at this. And I reflected. I'm like, Roman, when I was your age, I actually had a job, and had I worked like this, like cleaned like this, I would have been fired from that job because this is poor. And I'm like, and as your dad, like, I know that you're capable of doing this. Like, we have to do better. So I had to have that talk to let them know I'm holding you accountable to go all in. And I said, you know, when we're cleaning, don't go half-ass in. Go all in. When you're eating, go all in on just eating. When you're having fun on your stupid video game, go all in and have fun. But don't just half-ass here and there. Like, you're not gonna get good results with anything in life if you're just half-assing your way through it.
You know, I read one of our comments, and I actually wanted to say this before. The truth hurts, guys. Yeah, the truth hurts, and sometimes you're at the receiving end of the truth, too. And you said it. When our kids are calling us out, my daughter's notorious for this, and my oldest, she'll be like, you're not being so sunny now, are you? She's sarcastic with me. You know, she'll say, you're not being Sunnyside. I'm like, ugh. All right. You know, she brings it back for me and I'm like, oh, I'm out of character. Yeah, they know exactly what to do too to trigger us. But we keep setting those boundaries and hopefully they start to understand as well our expectations. You know, my children, this is something to date, my 27-year-old, I will always drive it home. It's because I know you can do more. I will always be that person for you that says, hey, I know you can come up here. You're still here, you know, but it's hopefully the hope is that they can continually look forward and look up like, all right, Mom's there. She says I can be there. I got this. So we are about 10 minutes before our closing. I want to encourage all of you to continue pressing that screen and like 22K bringing awareness. So thank you so much for those of you that have stuck it out with us thus far. And it couldn't be a coffee talk with Chief if I didn't. Here we go. Here we go. You ready? You ready, Chief?
Cue the trolls music.
Inside my bones, it goes electric wavy when I turn it on. Off from my city, off from my home. We're flying up, no ceiling when we in our zone. I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off of it, moving so phenomenally.
Come on, Chief, move those shoulders.
So don't stop. It's under the lights when everything goes. Nowhere to hide.
All right. I know that's your favorite song. It really isn't. But it will always probably be played until something else comes up. But I do play that for a reason. Do you see how quick that was? We took it from like here to here, that energy. That's the vibe I want you guys to go into this weekend with. We're going to continue having these conversations, all kinds of conversations. We encourage all of you to drop us a DM if there's something specific you want us to talk about. Look, we're not experts. We're only experts in our own life. And even then I question, I need more work in this area. Do your independent research, tap into yourself, whether it be daily journaling, do the things that actually feed your soul. That's what I call it. I'm feeding my soul. What does that look like? And it's different for every single one of us. Our journeys will never be identical. We will obviously come to a place where, for instance, if I say to Chief, let's talk about pain, we can have a conversation. He knows pain, I know pain, and this goes true for any one of us, which is also hopefully going to break that stigma that people can't have conversations with each other. Our stories will be different, but we should be able to have a conversation on specific topics because we've probably all experienced it. It's just different. That's all it is. It's different stories. Brian, you're funny. It was wonderful, actually, Brian, to have you on our Veterans Night.
Yeah, it was. And I love the beard that he's got. And he made a comment that I wanted to touch on. He said something along the lines of, I've met this great family, but I'm not ready to open up. And I don't think anybody's expecting anyone to open up. I know in my personal experience, I had to open up to myself first before I was even ready to talk to other people about it. But I will say that coming into your veteran lives and hearing other people open up about some things, and then even meeting up at the veterans meetup, I got to hear people expressing themselves and opening up. There's a lot of things that I've worked on with myself, and then I've been able to take to other people and have conversations with. And then beyond that, I wasn't suppressing it anymore. I was able to talk to someone about it. And then later, I've been able to use some of those traumas to help other people go through similar situations. So in my mind, that's kind of overcoming it. I didn't forget anything. I didn't forget about anything, especially not the people that may have done or caused some of the traumas in my life. But I learned from it. And I learned that it's okay to process that and the feelings. And I still do that all the time. There's still a whole lot of shit that I don't remember. There's still periods of my life that I can't even remember. And some of that comes out here and there. But what I have learned is I don't have to tell anyone. I have to work it with myself. And then when I'm comfortable enough with that, then I can share it with someone else if I want to. Or if I hear someone else that's sharing a similar situation, I'm more comfortable sharing mine. And I find that that gives me that support and that comfort because I'm not alone in this. Like there's so many times that I'll hear like 4 Points Ranch. Like I feel like we live the same life in different areas. Like definitely a brother from a different mother, even similar vibes on music. But I'll hear him tell a story that I've never told. And I'm like, man, that resonates with me. And then I'm able to process some of that and work through it myself. And then after I've worked through it, I can, for example, talk to a good friend of mine, Scooter, maybe, who may be going through something similar. And I can say, I'm not giving you advice, but this is my experience. I've been able to talk about this. And then I talk about it to him, which now is easier for me to talk about. Certainly more easy than it was when I was suppressing it, right? But now I'm not just using it as a monster. I'm using this as a tool of care and love for my friend. I'm opening up and sharing something about myself that maybe he didn't know, that now he feels comfortable with me to share something else. And that is what like that support and love looks like. Don't suppress everything, and you don't have to tell everything. But what I'm saying is don't hold it in. If something comes up, work on it with yourself until you find that person, that group, that family, that tribe that you're comfortable sharing with. And you don't even have to initiate it when you find the right ones.
Yeah, I think one of the experiences I've had on this platform, I think people think, whoa, if I go into this live, I have to share. No, we touch on the surface of topics, whether it be anxiety, depression, trauma. We don't get into specific stories. We may redirect and say, this was trauma from my childhood with mom, but I'm not telling you what it was because that's personal, guys. And no one expects you to share your personal information. You could touch on the surface, and that's the beginning phases of talking about it. You know what I mean? And Chief, when you said there's certain areas of your life that you don't remember, I don't either. and I don't know where they went. I hope that one day I could figure out where the hell I blocked out to, because I shared with you, Chief, there are still people that will come to me and say, remember when we did this? And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, I have no recollection. But then I have another area of my life where I was too small, most will say, to remember any of it, but I remember it. And my grandmother, who is my rock, will always say, I don't know how you remember that. I'm like, I can see the images in my head. And the mind is a very powerful tool, guys. Just remember that. It will store memories. It'll store feelings. And it's up to you to break some of that down. It's that personal work. Sit with yourself. Look at what it is that's kept you, as you made reference to, you know, in that place of not wanting to talk, shutting down. Are you being true to yourself? Get at the core of your truth, and that includes pain. You know, if that's the route you choose to take in the healing journey, because you truly can't heal if you're not addressing it. It's like putting a Band-Aid over an infection without taking care of it first. That's life too, and that's your life.
And Can-Dude said something in the comments that resonates with me big time. He said, just lessons I've learned. And I'm going to be honest with you, I was too old when I realized I should have learned lessons sooner. And I was repeating mistakes. When you look at life like a lesson and you are your own teacher by trial and error, just like a child, you touch the stove, you learn. Well, our whole life is like that. Our interactions are like that. The way we respond to people, the way we process things, learn from your actions, learn from the good, learn from the bad. And try not to repeat the bad. And you said something earlier that is the most important thing earlier. You said practice. Practice breathing. Practice proper responses. Practice ignoring drama or bullshit. Practice not responding to gossip, or practice a proper response. Because the more that you practice anything, even not just physical stuff, but the way you think, the way you practice thinking positive, it changes your life. Like Today, the easiest thing for me to do when I started practicing gratefulness, like I'm thankful for my kids, I'm thankful for my house, I'm thankful I can see, I'm thankful I can somewhat still smell. You know, I'm thankful for all that I can move. Even if it hurts my knees, I'm still out there. I know people that can't. When you start practicing what you are happy for, you start to realize that it could be a lot worse, and you focus less on the bad. And we all have something we can be thankful for. I don't care who you are.
Absolutely.
Just start there. We make it so fucking hard. It's like, well, I don't have the giant house. I don't have $1 million. Doesn't matter. This shit doesn't go with you. I know millionaires that are suffering. I know poor people that are happier. It doesn't matter. Just focus on what you're grateful for. Focus on what you have, and then practice expressing that. Stop with I'm telling everybody what you lack and what you don't have. Because then you're focusing on the wrong things. And like I said, in my experience, the more I focus on the bullshit, the more bullshit came into my life. When I kicked that shit out and I started focusing on my gratefulness, even if it was, I'm grateful I can start a fire today. I'm grateful I have hot water. Even the littlest shit, more positive things started to happen in my life. My responses started to be more positive. More positive people started to like me because they liked the way I was responding. And it just multiplies. Where does it end? It doesn't end. Practice every day being better. Practice being a better you. You can't compete against anyone. And this is the biggest problem I see in the fucking vet community. It drives me nuts. They're like, nobody understands what I've been through because everybody's the baddest dude. No, I had that problem because I thought, well, I didn't see this. I know my buddy so-and-so experienced that. I'm nothing compared to that. And then how many people say that about me and about them? It's, who gives a shit? None of that shit matters. It matters how you handle it. It matters how you want to be better. It matters who you surround yourself with and how you help other people off as well.
Yeah, and it's also very dismissive of what the other person's gone through. We hear that all the time. Oh, you'll never understand. You've never been through this. No, but you may not understand what I've been through. I mean, that's a fair statement, right? No one's truly ever going to understand your personal journey. That's your journey. How could I possibly? I haven't walked in your shoes. But the same goes for me. You don't know my journey. You don't know, you've never walked a day in my shoes. So let's practice kindness. Let's lead in love. Let's lead the way. Let's be kinder to one another. Support each other more. What does that look like? Be careful with your words. Choose your words. If you say something, mean it. Mean what you say what you mean, or don't say nothing at all. Just sit back. Go ahead. You're on a roll today, Chief. What's in that coffee?
I'm feeling it. Just vanilla hazelnut.
Shit, I need some of that today. Sunny's slow after last night's live.
I do have a little limoncello in the bowl for breakfast, though.
Oh, well, there you go. Did you have it already?
Somewhat. But I wanted to say another thing. A lot of the time, it's not about sitting around and talking about shit. And if I use my brother Rob here as an example, I feel like Rob and I sit around and do fire therapy and we don't even share too many words. We sit there together. The fact that I know Rob's there, the fact that Rob and I I don't think we've told any war stories. If so, very few, very seldom. But the fact that we're there together and that we feel like I understand he's been through some shit, he understands I've been through some shit. Guess what? We both like a fire. We both enjoy each other's quiet company. We both love dogs. And that, to me, is therapy. And yes, Rob may disagree, but I bet he gets more therapy from that than talking to his head doctor.
Yep. And it's true. Find your tribe. Make time for the right people. It fuels your energy. And like you said, you don't always have to talk. You just need to know that someone's present. And what does that look like for you? You can be surrounded by 100 people and in the wrong room. It's true. Or I can walk myself to the right person and know that I'm presently there with them. And that's so important. Be present in people's lives. And that's what we refer to, show up for yourself and show up for them. And Rob is my buddy Spike. He's my buddy Spike too there, Rob. Rob is big bro. I love him to pieces.
And we're at time, and I can't not go through all this whole live without saying, you my boy, Rich. But another point, and I said that because Rich and I didn't share war stories either. And look at us, bromancing all over the place. We sat by a fire. We shared a few bowls. But more than anything, I know for a fact if I needed Rich, he's already there before I need him. He's messaging me like, hey, you okay, bro? Or he's sending me some music, or he's making me smile. Therapy looks different for everybody.
Sure does. But, people have this stigma, right? Therapy. Oh, you're going to make me want to talk? No, I don't need you to talk. I don't need you to tell me your story. That's it. Just be your authentic self. Be present. That's it. Just be present. If you want to talk, we talk. If you don't want to talk, we can listen to music. If whatever it is, we go for a hike, we go for a walk. So it's been a great live. We've touched base on a lot. I feel like we could talk for hours, to be quite honest. I don't know if I have truly even processed last night's live fully.
This went too fast for me. Like, this just flew by. Holy smokes.
Well, did you want to go longer? No.
Nope.
Okay. All right. So we're going to keep it to our hour. If you're not following Chief or myself, hit us a follow. We both have a YouTube channel. Be sure to visit and subscribe. It's free, guys. Support. We also do have this merch lines with the same creator, Reckless. Oh, you're wearing the Sunnyside of Freedom. I'm going to have to start wearing my Chief ones. We're going to have to do that. Swap it out. Swap it out. We have some surprises this upcoming week, so stay tuned. A lot was shared tonight. I'm going to try to do a quick recap and simply say, so I don't repeat myself, be kind to yourselves, guys. Make time for yourself. Do something for you this week, and whatever that is. Sit and read a book, go for a walk, go on the water, go for a ride, the countryside. I tell Chief this all the time. In work, I spend a lot of time behind the car, and sometimes I deliberately will put myself in the countryside just so I can drive that route, because that brings me peace. Do what you know. I can't tell you what that is, but do for you. And, I would say hold yourself accountable every single day and ask yourself that question every single day. If you have a to-do list, where are you on it? Are you at the top? Are you at the bottom? And can you answer that question at the end of the day? What did I do for myself today? I have these conversations with Chief. I'm like, I didn't really do anything for myself today. All right, I still have time. It becomes a habit, like anything else you do, like making a cup of coffee, right? It's like that, but it takes practice. If you do this every single day, ask yourself that question. What did I do for myself today? And if you did nothing, start tomorrow. Don't beat yourself up about it. It's an opportunity to learn about yourself as well. It's that self-discovery we talk about. The self-healing journey is not quick. It's not fast. It takes practice. It takes time, but you got this. You can do this. But you got to want it. And only you can do that. You have a family here. There's much love here. And continuously find your tribe. As we heard our friend Brian, who's fairly new to our group, and he said, how awesome. When you start to find your tribe, it's pretty awesome. I don't need a million creators to follow me. I just don't need a million follows. What I would like is more awareness. What I would like to see is more support. What I would like to see is a little bit more love towards people, less gossip, less hate. And it's not even a party related thing all the time, because it comes with anyone at any time. Chief, I appreciate you. I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate our coffee talk. I appreciate our friends down below who have been having ongoing conversation in the comments. Wicked, thank you so much for the love that you continually give those joining our live. I see you, my girl. You're amazing and you're consistent in your daily duetting of planks. So thank you. You're appreciated. Rob, I love you bunches. Rich, and my list is endless. And I see you, Jake. Thank you for coming in, my friend. Keep fighting the good fight, because you're worth it, guys. No one said it was easy, but it can be done every single day. And get out there and plank it out. Much love to all of you. I will be back tomorrow night. I have been asked if I would change my air time from 9:30 p.m. Eastern time to an early time. So I may very well be doing just that. So stay tuned. I will send you guys out an event invite, so this way you guys know what time Sunny is going to be live tomorrow. Tomorrow is free for all. And stay tuned for this upcoming week. Chief will be live on Tuesday for music therapy.
Hopefully so.
Okay. Well, stay tuned. Stay tuned.
I'm taking vacation this week. I did get some new tools and hardware to play music on the road, but it's kind of a pain in the ass. But I did want to say and close out today with, I'm grateful for everyone here. I feel in my heart that I'm meeting more and more people who really, really care, and I'm seeing more and more people really show up and really show what support looks like, and people reaching out. It's an extended family, as Steve would say, tribe, but I love it, and it's a great feeling. So thank you all very much. I'm grateful for all of you.
Well, we're grateful for you too, my friend. So I'm going to close us out with our song, Stay and Listen. Much love to all of you. Hit us up in our DMs if there's anything that you need. Thank you for joining us. Sugar, we're closing out, love, but I'm going to play this song, and I hope you appreciate it and have a fabulous day. Share that smile, guys. You never know who needs it. It's contagious, and so is positive energy. A positive mindset requires lots of independent work, but you got this. Let's go. Oh, wrong one, but it's coming. It's coming. This one's for you, Chief. Hell yeah.
I had to finally give in.
And that's when we truly don't give a shit. You see, we're living our best life, living life on the sunny side. All right, let's play our closing out song. Oh, that was fun. That was fun, for sure.
I'm going to start doing the Carlton every time you put that on.
Please do. Please do. That would be great. Is it too loud?
This one's never too loud.
Let's go, let's go.
Can't find no balance in my mind. I must be missing the point. I need a coffee and a joint. I got this feeling inside. Can't find no balance in my mind. I must be missing the point. I need a coffee and a joint. Coffee in the joint, coffee in the 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 joint. I'm higher than an F-16 at Walgreens. Trying to find some odd drops in a bottle of Listerine. Woo.
Little strangers, coffee in a joint.
Well, I missed it clean when I stepped on the scene. But yo, how did it get here? And what does this all mean? The last thing I remember was way back in September. Oh, Johnny had it groovy, it was groovy full of pleasure. But I probably didn't measure the amount I should have taken. Now I'm standing on the ceiling and this feeling got me quaking. Yo, I sipped to bacon with my bad cracker, baby. We dishing out delectables a year. They can't see so here. It's amazing. Now come and get the slice. And if they try to take my herb, I'll say, take my wife. But Kevin, you're not married. Oh shit, it's getting scary. I'm mixing up my history. My memories are buried. And I don't have a clue what's real or imaginary. So take it, my children, cause this story's cautionary. I got this feeling inside. Can't find no balance in my mind. I must be missing a point. I need a coffee and a joint. I got this feeling inside. Can't find no balance in my mind. I must be missing a point. I need a coffee and a joint. Coffee in the joint, coffee in the joint. Coffee in the joint, coffee in the joint. Coffee in the joint, coffee in the joint. I was standing in the corner of the kitchen by myself, eyeing up the pop brownies on the top shelf. I'm thinking maybe just a nibble or two, but I didn't eat dinner, so I gobbled down too. Oh, I fucking knew it. I got to keep this conversation fluid. Yeah, too high to function. I'm feeling like a clown at a funeral luncheon. I'm a goner, man, I reach my marijuana maximum.
Sugar, that's my favorite.
Goddamn hors d'oeuvre through my knife.
What, Chief?
Sugar's slogan that she always says, stay hydrated, medicated, and elevated. I love it.
Yeah. So, guys, have an amazing weekend. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Show some love. Share some love. Be the best self to yourself and always lead the way. Stay sunny. Stay spicy. Always make it count. Get your smile on. Much love. Have a great day. Thanks for joining us today. Bye.